So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Hi, David Michael Frank.
and we have some questions to say about his new single, Only One. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about
Thank
the
you.
response to it so far?
It's been awesome. I was really nervous. It was the first release under my name, despite having released a lot of music over the last few years under different band names. So that was like a little scary and also like really just sort of like heartwarming and awesome to finally like see my name on my music. But the response has been incredible. We charted at number 2 in the alternative charts and number 38 on overall charts. And that was the same day that the Panic at the Disco album dropped, as well as the Demi Lovato album.
That album's good.
Yeah. So it was awesome, and the response has been incredible.
That's awesome. Where was the charting? Was it like on iTunes, or like what kind of chart was it?
Yeah, that was iTunes.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Oh shit! All right, that's pretty.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah.
Thank you. I had a little bit of a backswing of sorts in that I had the pre-save up for probably a month and a half and I played it on tour every single night. And I got the crowd into a song that they hadn't heard yet. It was sort of like, hey guys, it's like, your favorite comedian on Netflix. Like, we're filming the comedy special, but just don't laugh at my song. We're filming it right here. So we filmed every night, and people rocked out really hard to a song that they've only heard little like clips of. And the response was crazy.
That's awesome. So previously to this, at least like solo, you were doing mostly covers, correct? This is like your first like solo song, original song kind of thing, is what I'm gathering.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm even in bands. I've been doing YouTube since 2011, and then my very first band that was the professional band 2012, and then that was 4 guys. Oh god, the nightmare of story. That was like a signed boy band. We had like signed the worst record deal of your life. You would never want to sign it, and they had we had a promise of a television show, and it was just a nightmare of trying to get out of a contract, and then cease and desist letters, and they tried to sue our parents. It was like a nightmare. Anyways, 4 guys becomes 3 guys. 3 guys are independent. I'm writing all the music and recording all the music. It's awesome. We won the Hot Topic National Battle of the Bands. It was like everything was turning up for us. And then the day before the European tour, the drummer changed all of our passwords and held them hostage for a large amount of money. We decided to not give him that money and tried to go on as 2 people, and now we had to change the name again, which was a nightmare. And so now we were 2 people, and we were called Future Sunsets. And then my guitarist fell in love with a Norwegian model, and like every band, he was like, I gotta go to Norway. And so I lost my last guitar player to a Norwegian. They broke up, but anyways, it was fine, no hard feelings. And then now I was the Brendan Urie of the Panic at the Disco. I was the last remaining member of a band, and it was 2015, and I held on for a long time as Future Sunsets, and I released a bunch of music and I toured, but it always felt a little disingenuous. I was like telling people my band name, but I wasn't I was like the only member, and I always had bigger dreams for other things, but I didn't change the name for a lot of reasons. I still had t-shirts with my band name on it, stuff like little small things. And in that, I developed a pretty big catalog of covers and originals. And then when it came time to launch my own career as my name, even though I've been doing it for a while, I re-uploaded about 200 songs, all of the past songs, and I added my name as an artist. So now it shows up under like organized catalogs, like a DMF anthology from the past of covers and originals. It's all, my name is now added to it. So now I have sort of the monthly listeners that I had grown over the years, but I started to start with 0 followers. So I'm starting up my follower account despite, having had grown my followers with previous bands. Now I started with 0, but I have the monthly listeners. So it's a struggle, but I think it'll pay off in the long run.
Okay, that all makes sense now.
Yeah. A lot of covers.
That was a wild ass story.
Oh my God,
I didn't think that I was going to get that answer when I asked that question.
And then the moving to Norway thing just threw me for a loop. I was like, oh my God, there can't be more. And then what?
No, yeah, I've seen some of the dark sides of the industry. I've been like screwed over by best friends. I've had just difficult, even like health things. I broke my spine a few years ago. Like I've just been on this battle of like making music and realizing the connection that it can make with people, and then like fighting for the dream that I'm not willing to give up, despite like, I have a business background. Like I understand how to make a business of an artist and help other artists, and I understand how to do that, and I've learned like basic photo and video and marketing and all of the other skills relevant to like get a fucking job. But I'm in love with making music that connects with people and makes them feel a little bit less alone in the world. So I'm just a kid that's slowly growing up and holding on to the dream.
Love that. So before we move on further into this song, Panic at the Disco has already come up twice. I would like to know your thoughts on the new record. Okay. We already kind of poo-pooed it at the beginning, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I actually have tickets in like a week and a half. But all right, my thoughts. Okay. I commend Brendan and team for trying what they were trying, which is they wanted to record analog, which is tape. And I actually spent a little bit of time in my past having recorded to tape. Each reel, you only have 15 minutes and you can do very minimal editing. And they didn't do that. And so they were like going for like having to do a performance from one to the end. And I know Brendan played drums on all the songs and they probably had a great time making it. Awesome. Brendan is also one of the best singers. I sing my butt off. I've learned a lot from singing him. And this album is a masterclass, especially because they did it all analog. It's a masterclass in hearing where he's placing the vowels in singing very difficult things, because it's not crazy compressed. When you really compress a vocal, you can make a really quiet, whispery sound in your face. They're not compressing a lot, so you can hear what he's doing. So if you want to learn from Brendan's high notes, you can hear where he's putting it, and that's hard to like learn. I think the songs are all right. I think he was a little disjointed in that they were trying to go for like a rock opera, and then they changed their mind and they're like, all right, let's just like have fun with it. So I think the songwriting is a little disjointed, and I think he's having a lot of fun showing off his vocals. And I think there's some moments, but I think because they did it all analog, they actually limited a lot of stuff like vocal editing and pitch correction. And so Brendan's like killing it in his belting, but he's a little flat or sharp. And the average person listening goes, ew, that sounds horrible. Oh God, why is he doing that? Yeah. Where if he had like the tiniest amount of autotune, you'd be like, fuck yeah, Brendan. Oh yeah.
Killing it. Yeah.
I have seen like most of the love outside of the Panic at the Disco fans has come from like musicians, and I have a feeling it's all kind of for the same reason, like drooling over how he did it and all that shit. I personally wanted to like the album more than I did, and I think I am going to go see him on Friday, just because it's like, this was kind of he's kind of the reason why I am where I am now. In terms of like what I listen to and kind of putting me here, what I'm doing right now. So totally. I feel like I have to go see him at some point. It's just like, I don't know if the music's going to get any better, so I feel like I just go at some point,
I think he's going to learn from this, I think he had a lot of fun. And, it was COVID and he also gotten like some weird internet shit. So he's probably going through like his own like journey to rediscover himself. Like let him do that. It's not his best album. That's all right. I bet the energy though live, I bet it's great live. Like I bet it, because they recorded most of it live and like it sounds small and like a little muddy and whatever, but I bet live it's crazy. And the bandmates that he has are really good, and he's got backup singers, and the production's always insane. So yeah, same with me. He's a huge inspiration as an artist, as a musician, as a multi-instrumentalist. He's great on drums. He's great on guitar. He's great on singing and piano. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go. I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy the concert, and I'm sure you will too. And maybe his next record, he might give you something a little more. Hopefully. Because remember hearing Death of a Bachelor for the first time? You're like, what is going on? Yeah. Like, this is so cool. This is so unique. It's like Frank Sinatra meets like hip hop meets like rock. Like what? And so like, yeah, he just sort of went like 80s hair metal, and good for him. But
yeah, he's definitely, it feels like he's having fun, but at the same time, I think he's lost his footing a little bit, especially like, you mentioned he had all this controversy, and then he's like, oh shit, I'm going to put an album out like in the midst of it, calm down a little bit, and I'm going to do this record now. And it's like, he definitely probably wasn't in the best headspace, considering he went from like this beloved figure to like everybody and their mother now hates Brendan Urie, and it's like, you know, whether or not it holds any value, it's still, that's going to fuck with you no matter what. So
yeah, I feel bad for just sort of like how he probably like then he hid from the internet, and then he was sort of in his own world of isolation. I just hope that he, you know, healed a lot and learned a lot, and whatever. I'm sure the music represents a lot of that for him. Yeah.
I promise we'll talk about your music now.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's all good. I can talk about Brendan Urie all day.
So back to the track. Is there any meaning behind the single title or cover art?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, only one. I mean, it's sort of a little bit of a few different plays on words. You know, I mean, this is not the primary meaning, but I'm now a solo artist. So, you know, there's that sort of like initial, like, oh, play on words that he's the only one. And anyways, but yeah, then lyrically, you know, the song is sort of about fighting for something you believe in, but, you know, letting other people involved know that they're not alone in their fight for that, which is what the title of the track is about. As far as the album art goes, you know, I think it was just a local photographer. Actually, it was funny. It was a local photographer who was a server at a restaurant I went to. I like went to a restaurant. He's like, "Yo, you're that guy from TikTok." And I was like, "Yeah, hi. I'll say, can I get the steak medium rare?" And I was like, "Well, what do you do?" And he's like, "I'm a photographer." And he handed me his card, and I hit him up, and I was like, "Yo, like, I need like album artwork like tomorrow." And so I never actually looked at his photos, and we went to a studio and we shot some pics, and they're pretty good. And he did a good job. I you know, we worked with the space. The space was all right. I used them for the album art and for some of my initial like merchandise and stuff for the tour I just finished, and you know, the poster and my social media backgrounds that I had to change. And yeah, that's that, you know, you never know who you're going to meet, and especially in Nashville.
Fair enough.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this track?
Sure. So I, in bands in my life, have always been the primary writer, primary producer. And I would always write the drums. Usually I'm programming them, but I play drums as well. I would like write the instrumentation, and I would produce it, and I would like email my bandmates, or they'd come by and I'd be like, "Here's the song. What do you think?" And they'd usually be like, "That's cool." And then the guitarist would like add another guitar line to it. And that was like usually the process of recording music in bands. This song, as well as about 20 other songs that I prepared for this next phase of my music releasing, was actually written with like a team of like professional Nashville songwriters. So the way that happened was I got to Nashville, and all these writers in Nashville hit me up, and I've been through some shit. So I like instantly I'm like, what's going on here? What's I don't trust anyone at all ever. But I meet with them, and they live like the Nashville songwriting life, which I was not aware of. I knew a little bit about it, and I had friends in LA that would like do writing sessions for people, but they were never making money, and they were never like going anywhere with their art. And so Nashville songwriters is different. Life's a little slower out here. It's not as expensive to live, and they will work with the hope that a song will come out someday, and they might get their portion from it. That's awesome. So they write at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m., and they set up different rights with each other. It's this like wild thing where everybody's working with each other, and it's like weirdly like I can't even explain it. And so they're incredibly talented at writing about anything. They can be like, yeah, okay, there you see the girl in the bar, and the light of the exit sign is red, and like whatever, right? So they get in this headspace, and they're incredible at vowels and it's incredible at vowels. They're incredible at how to properly compose a song rhyme scheme wise, and they use terms called like song math, the amount of syllables in each line. They like really set everything up, and they do sort of counter meanings to things. So I've learned my songwriting on the streets. I've been writing songs from my heart, and like if it doesn't rhyme, I don't give a shit. I just write in from my heart, and like in that there's something that's been I've developed my style of writing. I've just developed the way I speak about things. The words and chords and everything that I've developed as my toolkit. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I bring a lot of like that into me. So now you combine that with people who like, they can just rhyme every word all of a sudden right there with like different meaning and like, oh, like they're just incredible wordsmiths. So I would walk into rooms with these people and they write multiple songs a day. When I'm writing a song, like I can count on my like hand, like how many songs I've written in like 2 hours. And like, that's nothing. Like for me, I'll like pace over a song and like get it right. And I'll be like crying on a flight, like, yeah, this fucking line. And like them, they shit out songs. So you combine people that have a talent with that, with somebody who's coming in with like my story, my meaning, my words, the start of something. And also like, I'm not going to just like let shitty things pass through, or things that don't resonate with me. And we're not writing for other people. We're writing for me. So I wrote 20 songs, pretty quickly. We did like our first day and we like wrote 2 songs. We're like, holy shit, this is awesome. And for me, I'm like, what, 2 songs? And then like, we just kept going. We just kept doing these writing sessions and they like be like, oh, I have this other friend who listens to Dashboard. You should like, or like they worked with Dashboard Confessional on their album. You should work with them. And like, all these other different like writers with different skills would connect other people to like come and write with me for me. And so, only one was written, in like the last writing session day. And it was we wrote 3 songs in 2 hours. That's like nuts.
Oh my God.
I like left it feeling like confused. Like I was like got punched in the face. Like what? We like walked into a room and like now there's 3 new songs. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when it came down to choosing the single, I didn't put too much like thought into it. There was a little bit of a time crunch because I was asked to go on tour, and I had about a month before the first show. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to change my name to my name. I'm going to re-upload 200 songs. I'm going to get everything ready. I'm going to do a photo shoot with the hostess at the restaurant. I got to hustle. And I had this back catalog of all of these songs with these like crappy little demos that are like recorded on your voice memos from a day where we just like are playing guitar and everybody's like humming all out of tune, like, the lyric, right here. So, only one was something that stuck in my head because it was most recent. And also it had, a sort of a middle of the line, middle of the tempo, rock thing that was not too heavy. It was not too soft. It was, people were going to be able to like enjoy it. Like it was the perfect tempo at a show for everybody to sort of like bob their head and be like, fuck yeah, this song's hard. Like, so I put this song together first, knowing that I was going to be playing it live for a heavier rock audience than I am. Usually, I mean, I could do all styles, but, it was a little scary to choose, whichever one it was. It's also like sort of like a little bit of like a love song. So it's not all like depressed. It's got an element of that, but it's not all like sad. So like, I don't know. It's hard to choose what people are going to judge you for because they're going to see your first impression and be like, this guy is acoustic. This guy is lame, whatever. Yeah. And so I chose something that I think was a little safer. And the song did well and it's still going to hopefully do well. And I'm doing some really cool marketing tactics, like an open verse challenge. And we can talk about that if you want. I think I'm going to rebel hard, just like Brendan Urie probably will on his next album to bring him up again. I'm probably going to rebel hard. And like the next song I'm going to drop is probably going to be like, I'm going to be like, saying curse words.
Oh,
and like,
shit. Oh my God.
Whoa, that's too
I
far.
know. It'll
That's
be in the
too
title.
far, David.
It'll
be in the title? Oh,
it'll be in
shit.
the title.
Everybody watch out.
And it'll, I might go a little more riskier, something that I think would be unexpected and something that I think would be unique to someone hearing for the first time. I love pop, I love rock, I love a lot of the different genres, and I try to stay up to date with what's going on with music production. I got some songs that are definitely a little out there, so they feel like risks, but let's go.
Do it.
I have so many questions. Okay. We're gonna start here. You said you wrote a shit ton of songs. You mentioned the next era of your music career. Are you talking this is this is leading up to something bigger?
I think possibly. I think I don't know yet what it will be. I've really enjoyed TikTok and short form video content and building a like rapid fan base so quickly. Like I've been doing this since 2011. Like I have fans from 2011, but TikTok was like, hello, all these people. And they're like, where the hell have you been? And I'm like, what the fuck? I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah. And so, I think it's an exciting time, especially as things go viral and labels are contacting me and managers are contacting me. So I'm going to be, of course, very wary of anyone I talk to because I need to have good partners, and I think they can exist in the world. But right now I'm independent. I have no one on my team. That's it. It's all me. I do all my editing, all my music production, all of like everything. And maybe I'll hire out a little bit here and there, but like I am swamped with everything I'm doing. I think building a team is going to be important, but I think I'm going to start releasing, singles. And I do believe that I will put together an album. I'm an album listener. I have to have it be an album. I've released albums under band names, and I don't have an album under my own name. So I need an album.
Fair enough. And you mentioned you wrote with a bunch of people in Nashville, and I'm very curious as to like maybe a list of some of those people, but I don't know if Carter Hardin writes, but I know he produces. I don't know if you have crossed paths with him. He's in the band Chapel.
I have not crossed paths with him. I'm open to working with anyone. I think at first I was like pretty insecure about working with people because I was like, I'm used to working alone. Like these people write 3 songs a day. And then you get into a room and your goal is to sort of just write a song, and everybody sort of checks their egos at the door. Doesn't matter if you've got a lot of followers or you've written some big hits, because at the end of the day, like we're all like shitty at writing songs and we're all like good at writing songs, and you just sort of stumble to the end of it, and then you've got something. So I don't know that writer, but I would be happy to work with anybody. I wrote most of the songs with a really talented writer named Chris Sly, who has a lot of country hits. I know he's in like the top charts right now with like a song. I think the guy name is Bailey Zimmerman, and I think it's Zimmerman. Maybe it's not. That sounds way more Jewish than I think any of the. I'm Jewish, so I can say that. Bailey Zimmerman. I'm right. Wow, maybe he is Jewish. Anyways,
there you go.
So anyways, they have a country song right now out with Bailey Zimmerman that's like crushing the charts right now. But Chris writes mostly for country artists, but he grew up doing rock. And I think that country writing, and not the Chevrolet and the truck and the stupid kind of writing, which they do too. But I think that country writing, the honesty of it, is reminiscent of some of the emo hits and things that have shaped us and who we are as music listeners. Just the honesty. So Chris is incredible. So I wrote a bunch of songs with him, and I co-produced only one with him. And another writer is Mary Cutter. She's also sort of country herself, but she can write pop. She can write anything. I honestly think country is probably like the hardest thing to write. And so like if you can write country, you can probably write like rock. You can write you can dumb it down. And some country, like I said, is fucking dumb. Just a bunch of people, some old friends from childhood, and then I have a few that I wrote entirely my own that have stayed the test of time over the last few years, that I'll finish up.
Okay, that sounds very exciting. Also very excited to see whatever you decide to put out as a big group, because I know you said you want to put out an album, so whenever that comes out, I will be there.
Hell
whenever. Yeah.
I mean, do you guys listen to albums?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think most people listen to albums?
No.
I don't think so
it's
either.
a playlist like world now where it's just singles. I like this one song, I'll add it. I heard this on the radio, I'll add it to my playlist. So
and see, I don't do that with songs that I love. I have like I have like a drumming playlist, and I have like a
Mhm.
singing high notes, you sing your balls off playlist. And
Uh-huh.
and then I'll pull up albums. I listen to albums all the way from top to bottom. But I don't like have them saved usually unless I'm like going on a flight and I don't have what, I just stream them and go, oh yeah, I haven't listened to this album in a while, and I'll just listen to it.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Well, yeah.
No,
Go
finish
for
what you're saying.
I'll definitely. I need to do an album, but I'm gonna let the music and the marketing and the like anything could happen, TikTok and management or whatever. Like I'm just gonna let it happen a little more organically. And I think when I've got maybe 6 songs out in the world, I might start to think about putting that end date on packaging it all.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I'm definitely like I like to think of myself like I'm an album listener. Like I go ahead, I listen to an album front to back. I don't like the single shit. But the busier I'm getting the appeal behind the singles. Like I'll throw on an album like driving to work instead of throwing on my driving playlist, and then I'll just wind up listening to whatever comes on afterwards. And and then I just turn on that same Spotify radio on the way home because I'm like, you know what, fuck it. So it's like it's just easier. I don't know, and I hate that because I was such like an album listener, but now it's like, well, I listen to the same 5 songs every fucking day. Like I don't know. So and like with the appeal of TikTok and everything, I get why everything's shifting, but I hate it even if I'm a part of the problem.
Can't relate. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Well, how do you listen then?
Oh no, I just when it's in the background, I just put on my playlist. But if I'm actually like trying to listen to music, I usually just go album by album.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I feel like I'm weird where like once the singles are out, I skip those because I like listen to them a few times and then like the album drops and I'm like, this song again, fuck that. And then I skip to the songs I haven't heard, and I like literally the Panic at the Disco album. I feel like every time I've listened to the album, which has been a few times, I just skip the songs I've already heard, maybe because they didn't make the best first impression, but yeah. Welcome to our Panic at the Disco discussion podcast.
See, that's literally how this podcast started, though. So. Yeah. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyric off this track and the meaning behind it.
My brain is like not the best at like just pulling out like the random. Let me Google my lyrics for a second.
There's no shame in that.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I can play ball with this. All right, here we go. I mean, it's such like a raw, like real song. But I don't know. I feel like the we've got life to live and we've got life to live, but we're both tired of waiting and holding on. I think that's sort of real when you're like going through shit and it just feels a little overwhelming and life can't sort of move on. And it feels this like time element is stuck and you're trying to just put stuff behind you and make moves. So I think that one resonates with me. But I don't want to. It's tough because you never want to like give away your secrets of your music and everybody can create their own interpretations for themselves. But yeah, I guess I'll go with that line.
That's a good one.
All right. Would you be able to tell us where your headspace was at while you're writing this track?
I don't remember if this was like the first, second, or third song. I was probably still being like, "Oh my god, are we gonna write another one? Wow, it's been like minutes." No, I think life is hard sometimes. I think it's really easy to like put a smile on social media, and that sort of sucks. That's not genuine to I think what most of us have sort of going on behind the curtain. We all have like issues and struggles and challenges in our lives, and I think this song is just sort of like an honest like look at like working through shit. But music's so cool, man. You guys probably fell in love with music from such a young age, from the way that it can make you feel, and when you can like write music, it's so cathartic. And so I think the power of getting together and like sharing sort of what you're going through, especially with other people, it's very therapeutic to sort of like work stuff out with people and then like get your rhymes and get your song math and the amount of syllables you need. But as long as your message is there, then and you stay true to it, then you got a great song.
Absolutely.
For sure. So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this single for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
Introduction.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking
Can you
too
hyphenate?
hard.
Can you hyphenate some words?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Depth. I didn't need to
Okay.
hyphenate that. That was good.
No.
Power.
There you go.
There you go.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
That was tough. You threw me on the spot there.
Hey, that's the point. But you did good. You did good.
That's awesome.
So in that same train of thought, but with not as much pressure, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want your listeners to have while going through the song?
I mean, find how you relate to the words and to the meaning and to the music. You know, I didn't always listen to the words growing up, and I regret that. I understand now that that's the core of the song. But I think in that I really developed a lot as an instrumentalist with my music and the feelings that the music can convey. So I'd say definitely like listen, as a producer and artist and multi-instrumentalist, there's always like some cool stuff in there, but it's also now, especially because I'm really looking at the lyrics more, it's also being there to serve the song, which is really important as an artist and as a producer. So yeah, I just want people to feel. I want them to feel something real. I want it to be believable because it's me, but there's so much music out there that like I feel like you just don't believe it. Like you're like, this is not, I mean, okay, how many writers are on this? And like, like it doesn't, and here now I'm out here bashing writers, but like it's cool. They're fucking good at it.
Yeah.
But like when you just want to have an artist that you believe in. I think everybody like heard Ed Sheeran and they're like, yeah, I get this guy. Even though you don't like the biggest Ed Sheeran fan, you're like, okay, I know who this person is. You see the picture, you will see him live. You no question believe him as an artist. Yeah. And I think sometimes there's a lot of artists out there that maybe you see and you're like, this just feels like they're just copying a trend and they're like sort of a douche and like, like it's just it. I hope it's believable because it's from the heart.
I like that. That's good.
Good. Yeah. So while listening to this track, what band or artist influence pops out the most to you? I know we mentioned Panic a lot. Is Brendan an influence? Is he not?
100%.
100%.
Yeah, Brendan's like as a vocalist, there's not that many vocalists out there at the time that can do some of the like sort of more nuts singing that I've been like doing lately over the last few years on TikTok. But like the bridge of this song, like I like go into like a very emotional, upper octave of belting out My Only One. And I think I learned a lot of that from Brendan Urie, as well as probably the biggest influence. There's a Canadian band named Marianas Trench. And I'm a huge fan of them. And the lead singer, Josh Ramsey, writes and produces all the music. And he's also one of the great vocalists that are out there right now. So yeah, I get a lot of what I do from people like him. I'm inspired also a lot by my peers. I think being in sort of this like TikTok community, you put out your heart and you put out your skills and you try to catch people's attention as quickly. And for me, it's like singing my ass off. But at the same time, everybody's just really doing who they are and what they are. And that's how they like find their following, is that people are like, okay, again, I believe who this person is. Like I see who their talents, it's real. And I feel something. And there's so many people that like, now we like duet each other and like comment each other's shit and follow each other and like we watch each other's videos or whatever and like TikTok, Instagram or whatever, that are also in the trenches as artists that are like living and breathing, trying to make music, trying to make a living, playing the marketing game of creating short form content that can be like cringy because you're like clearly like just trying to like be like, don't scroll, don't scroll, whatever you do. But there's some fucking talent out there. And I'm really inspired by my peers. And that's actually been like that ever since I've been a professional musician, and even before, I was like watching YouTubers being like, I can do that, and like watching Alex Goot play all the instruments in his videos, or like Tyler Ward, or all these Kurt Hugo Schneider, all these producers and artists that are now my friends, that I like looked up to and was like, oh my God, I can do that. And I see what they're doing and I just need to try it. Mm-hmm. And I think you see a lot of people out there that are doing something, and like, it just comes down to like trying it and then once you copy them a little or whatever, until you find your own voice, then you found what's uniquely you. So yeah, I've been inspired by my peers. As far as other like big music, I'm always inspired by like literally like New Music Friday and whatever is like popping. But that's just because I'm a producer and I'm trying to stay sort of up in the times.
Fair enough.
Gotcha.
I'm very intrigued, like, because obviously you exist in this kind of like social media space. Like, how do you keep the content rolling without it getting too fucking stale? Like, it is just kind of you at the end of the day doing your thing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that it lives and breathes this, you start to like figure out your lighting and your camera settings and what looks good and sounds good, and how your drum sounds will be to be programmed quickly, or whatever it is you need to do. And as far as like the stale goes, I've always been pushing myself. I never ever want to do the same thing twice, and I've always just been trying to progress, especially as a singer, which has been like my training over the last few years of just like diving in, and also my drumming. I'm like, I play drums every day, and I'm not a professional drummer, but like I play every day, and I sing for a few hours every day. I think you find what works for you, but you have to always improve. But I think the difficulty is that it takes so much time to create stuff. And I don't think people know that. I think they just consume it and they're just like, all right, cool, that was nice. Oh, sweet, a cat. Like,
where's part two?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it takes so much time and love. I'm only one was probably written in an hour, but the amount of time that it spent in my computer before it became a song, hundreds of hours. The best stuff really comes from really like taking the time to do that. But it's tough because we're in such a world of, you need to stay relevant. You need to post often. And I've been struggling for years with focusing on the things I care about, which would be original music and creating stuff from the heart that connects with people and makes them feel a little bit less alone. Mm-hmm. But I can't just focus on that because I need to make a video that's like, stop scrolling, whatever you do, here's a high note. It's a really difficult thing. And then, beyond that, I do other stuff. I have a vlog, a family vlog channel. My wife's a big YouTuber. So she has her stuff and I try to, help her with what she's doing and she's going to talk about, and I'll, talk about whatever stuff in the world's going on. She'll do like social commentary and politics and whatever. And then we have a family vlog channel together. And so that's a lot of work, is to like film that kind of stuff and put it out on the internet, which also opens you up to a lot of like commentary and criticism doing the family stuff. But hey, that's fun too. And then we have a baby. We have a 1-year-old baby who's awesome. He's 13 months and he's about to walk. And it's like, he's like ready, like he can hold your fingers and he's like walking, but you like pull him out and he's like, no, I'm not, I don't trust anything. But yeah, and he's super cute and cool. And, so now there's sort of that element to, everything, but he hasn't like slowed anything down. He's, a little, of course, but he's awesome. I can keep him in the studio and he hangs out. I have a vocal booth. He can like hang in the vocal booth, and he's been in some videos of mine, and he watches me play drums, and he like will watch like music of like Elmo or whatever, and I will play drums along to it, and he's like watching me, and I'll be like, I'll hold my sticks up and he's like, yeah. He doesn't like, he just sort of says like, nah. but he has fun. So yeah, life is tough to pursue the art while maintaining all the other things that you do, especially as an independent artist, and now a family and relationships and friendships and family. Those are all stuff that like I haven't done the best job since being an artist in 2011 and being like, this is my dream. I need to do what I need to do, blinders. And then like you are numb to, you don't sort of see what's going on around you. So I'm doing my best to be more aware of some of that stuff and focus on the art, but focus on some of the other stuff that at the end of our lives, we can all look around and say, oh, we didn't just make stuff. We like made an impact and we like connected with people. We made some friends and all that. So yeah, doing the art's a little isolating and lonely, especially touring, which, when you're on the road, like it's like hard to respond to a text message because you're like so busy. And like, even when you're like in the van lying down on you're like few hours to the show, you don't even want to respond to the text message because you're so fried that you can't even like open up.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. Yeah. I did not realize how busy you fucking were. That's I don't know how you're still going.
I'm not giving up, man. But my tactics are changing. It's when it used to be that, Katy Perry would drop a new song and it would be like, all right, Katy Perry's song comes out at midnight. At midnight, we're going to start recording this song and we're going to have it out as soon, like the next day. And I've had a lot of success when Miley Cyrus dropped Wrecking Ball. This was my big viral, like original success. When she dropped Wrecking Ball, it was the fastest growing video on Vivo ever. And I told my bandmates, I was like, you guys, quick, go to the hardware store and pick up a rope and you go get a giant workout ball. And what we did was like, by the time they got back, I had the cover produced at like enough to film to. And we tied this workout ball on some horse stables in the backyard. And we had made our own Wrecking Ball. And I got naked and we recorded a cover of Wrecking Ball and we had it out in 24 hours. It's still on YouTube. It's now like age restricted because it went so viral. We had worldwide press, Perez Hilton, Ryan Seacrest, Billboard. I was on the homepage of gay.net. I didn't even know that website existed. But because of that, like the worldwide press, it blew up. Then like my original album that was already out at the time, like blew up. And when we did our European tour, like I was like, yo, where did you guys all like know about the band? It was like Wrecking Ball, Wrecking Ball, Wrecking Ball, Wrecking Ball. So before it was like being on top of the next new thing, like Paramore just put out a song. Like if it was 2013, like I would be recording a Paramore cover right now. But it's not. And unless their sound goes viral on TikTok, which they have record label money, so it's probably gonna go viral. But it's gonna go viral. But as long as their stuff goes viral, then I hop on those kinds of trends. So it's a little bit more of I will record a cover. I don't want to, but I will record a cover or spend my time producing something out if the sound goes viral or if the supply and demand kind of if the demand is there instead of going the other way around.
So when did you kind of get comfortable enough where you felt like you had grown your brand enough where you didn't have to, like, as soon as the next big thing drops, you have to put a cover out immediately?
It's hard to think about when that really changed. I think when I was living in LA, it was a lot different as far as like, I almost would say it's like chasing money, which sounds stupid, but like, look, we're all in life. We're all like going through shit. You've got your rent, you got your bills. When you live in Los Angeles, it's really expensive. So I would prioritize, and I have a lot of skills. When I was in LA, I would prioritize recording someone else's cover, shooting their music video, doing their marketing, shooting their album, iTunes, whatever, and like helping them get it out into the world because they would pay me for that day's work or multiple days work. And so I like was putting my own career on like the back burner. Like I would fit my shit in after I like made money from other people. And I think something shifted when I moved to Nashville. And when I got married, you start to think about life as like a team. And I think when I moved to Nashville, it's just a cheaper living. People are a little slower with like it taking in time in life, taking in sort of good. And they'll go out on the lake with the boat. Like that shit doesn't happen in LA. You'd be like, hey, let's write a song. They'd be like, yeah, my day rate's $400. Like I'd love to write a song. Like no, like here they're down to write a song, and it might come out someday, and they might get a percentage of some writing credit, which is also like not very much. So, I think it just sort of shifted. And then when I started to do TikTok, I started to have more success in different ways, where people were finding my back catalog that maybe had like not gotten as, I was doing fine, but then now more people are finding me. There's a little bit more monetization. And I have my own merch. I ship it out myself. There's my merch like on the ground here because I like literally am shipping it myself. And I just sort of started focusing on my own voice, my own music a little bit more, and the background still because I was trying to go viral all the time. And then now it's still a combination of like virality and focusing on the art that I care about, which takes time. So it's not perfect, but I'm doing my best to try to balance those things as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Oh, like always very fascinating because like we talk to a lot of like bands that have been doing it a long time, and it's like they're all like fuck TikTok. So like getting to kind of dive into someone that's kind of going at the music industry in the modern way and being very successful with it fascinates the ever living hell out of me. So that's why I had to pick at you.
I can think of so many people whose TikTok has changed their lives. I mean, like I literally just got off tour and the rooms were packed, and I've toured a lot, and I hate playing to empty rooms, and it's such a pain in the ass. And now more people are coming out, and people are finding the music, and a lot of my peers, COVID and lockdown sort of allowed people to go out and search for some art and something out there and find what they were resonating with. Look, if anybody is out there saying like fuck TikTok, and then I don't think they're gonna have what it's gonna take, because I remember when I was too scared to hop on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, fuck YouTube. My mom was like, here's a camera. And I was like, no, fuck YouTube. Like, I'm scared, but that's not what I was saying, but it's true. And I think you have to change. You have to adapt. I've been in the industry for like a few years now, and it's constantly shifted. It's so different now than it was. And it's going to be different in a few years. And if you aren't going to adapt, you're not going to stay afloat. So many of my friends have given up on their careers. All of them. And I mean, not all, that's not true, but the people that I'm now connecting with, we've all gone through the same shit. So I just got off tour with a band named Halocene and Lauren Babick, and they've both been doing YouTube for a while. And it's sort of like, I hadn't really worked with them much in the past. And like now we get talking, and it's like, oh, we started YouTube around the same time. We like know a lot of the same people. And like, there's such a mutual respect to an artist that has survived and still paying their bills from making art by whatever means, but especially if it's something they really, really care about, like putting their own music and their own art out into the world. It's hard, man. It's lonely, it's isolating, and it takes tremendous like skill and like forethought to be able to have a independent, successful career.
Definitely. I respect it. I really do. So picture this: you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Let's see. I don't have my giant tea mug in here. Well, this last tour was tough because we all got COVID at the beginning of tour. We had to cancel 3 shows. So the rest of the tour was, and I know in Atlanta was sold out. So that sucked to cancel. But the rest of the tour, I never felt great. All of us, like I never felt vocally good for the rest of the tour. So yeah, sure. I will save my, I will get the free hot water. I bring my own tea bags, and I have a giant mug, and I got like lemons. I got like fresh lemons in the van. I got ginger, just straight up ginger root. And everyone will make fun of me because I'm just literally like in the van, just like biting off a piece of ginger and like eating ginger. They're like, that's so fucking gross. I'm like ginger. Gross. I'm like ginger and honey and lemon. Like, my voice. But so yeah, vocal health is a big thing for me in the typical gas station food. I don't know what else. I mean, it's such a survivor thing on tour that like if they sell like a salad, you're like, I need to eat this salad because we're just gonna keep eating pizza, and like because we need to, and like we're gonna get fast food all the time, and like if the gas station has salads, which some of them do, then you'll get your salad, and hopefully it'll hold you over until you have to eat shit again.
Fair enough.
Perfect. So on the topic of food, if your project was a dish, what dish would your project be and why?
Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
God, I don't know. I think it's something as vague as a sandwich. But let's go with I'm like a nice pastrami sandwich of an artist.
Ooh.
There's a lot of meat there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, sorry, that took it too far.
Jesus Christ.
But that's true though. Okay, we're getting in a weird conversation, but there is something unique about a big pastrami sandwich. You get that pastrami sandwich, you're like, yo, this is gonna be. Oh, I gotta stretch. All right. Anyways, all I'm saying is it's a unique sandwich that is emotionally empowering to eat, and and you're gonna remember that pastrami sandwich. So I'm gonna go with that.
Great.
I'm struggling to get out of what you said in the beginning there.
Exactly.
And it just kept getting worse. I don't know. I'll take it.
I did. That's fine.
So for the last couple of questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
There's a restaurant that is starting to close down like all over the world, all over the US, and it's so sad to me because they've always been my favorite. They're a baby back ribs restaurant named Tony Roma's. And they're like closing down right and left. Anyways, I would go with a rack of Tony Roma's baby back ribs, and they also have an item called the onion loaf. I would get an onion loaf. It's delicious. And I've been getting into bourbon lately, so I'd probably have to go with some bourbon. And gosh, what else? I like cheesecake. I appreciate a good cheesecake.
That's good. Awesome. What is an onion loaf?
Great choice. So there's a lot of different like onion items out there in the world. So for example, if you go to Outback Steakhouse, they're known for what's called the bloomin' onion. And what that is that's like they like cut it in a really cool way and it like folds out and they like do their seasoning in it. It's fine. It's fine. But the onion loaf is this beautifully wrapped like onion circle and it's fried and it's like a giant donut of a loaf, and on the right on the top there's a bowl that they've somehow magically fit the onion loaf like fried around it that holds all of the barbecue sauce. So that is the onion loaf. If you ever not have an opportunity to go to Tony Roma's, not sponsored, but I don't care. I usually don't do free sponsorship, but Tony Roma's, there you go. Tony Roma's right now. Go get your baby back ribs, and there's one location left in the United States, probably. That's it.
Oh my God. I thought you meant like 2 have shut down this year, but like there's just like 1 left.
I mean, I don't know if there's really, but like, yeah, there's like none. And I've been a fan of them for a long time. And like, I went to college at University of Oregon. And I remember when the last one closed in Oregon, my friend was on tour. This is my Yelp profile photo. It's really bad. My friend was on tour and he was in like the closest Tony Roma's to Oregon. And he was a huge fan. I think he was in like Iowa or something. He was like, maybe he's in Montana. I think he was in Montana and I was in Oregon. And I made him bring me back an onion loaf and baby back ribs. And he drove it from Montana to Oregon. I had the last remaining Tony Roma's barbecue baby back ribs and onion loaf in Oregon ever. And I ate it and I had a really stupid, shitty mustache. And anyways, that's my Yelp profile photo. Go follow me on Yelp.
That's a good plug. That's the best plug we've had.
Yelp.
Exactly, yeah. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh my God, these questions. Fictional world. I don't know. There's some pretty sweet Star Wars stuff. And like if I could have some of that like Jedi knowledge, that would be pretty sweet. So yeah, I'm gonna go with I would like to live no, not Tatooine. It's a little too dry. Is it Endor? I think it's the moon of Endor where all of the Ewoks live. I'd like to live with some Ewoks on the moon of Endor.
That's a very, very good answer.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. Well, what's your favorite color?
Okay. There is a type of blue called cerulean. Cerulean. That would be my favorite color.
Nice.
There you go. That's good. That's very good.
Thank you.
So as I said, that's all the questions you have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Plug. Look, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It means a lot. I'm excited to check out your other episodes. But as far as my own stuff, follow me on everything as David Michael Frank. So check out my YouTube if you want to watch the long form, but go hit that TikTok if you want to catch me like singing my ass off and like posting whatever craziness I can until my vocal cords just erupt on me. So that's the place to be. So yeah, David Michael Frank on everything.
All right. Thank you for sounding. That's been David Michael Frank, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.